There exists a 2-month span of time between the end of the NBA season and the start of the NFL season where I'm not completely insufferable, but for the rest of the year I'm just bombarding my friends and loved ones with useless sports knowledge against their will. The video quality could not be worse, but I'm filming in a thunderstorm, so we just gotta take it for what it is. I don't know what to tell you. Welcome to Chaos Central Books. My name is Claire, and today I'm just wrapping up the month of August. I'm not doing a formal wrap-up because I don't think it's productive for me to just list all the books I read and didn't like in a month. That's kind of what my first video was, and let's be real, like, you don't need that monthly. That's a lot of negative energy that we don't need. So consider this like half vlog. You'll see some moments from August, and then half me talking about the books I read in real time, and also some more coherent thoughts at the end. So let's just get into it. So yeah, August was some book shopping, some book reading. To be honest, not the best reading month in terms of quality. I read 7 books, which is not too bad. I think that's a pretty good reading month for me this year, stat-wise. It also got me to 50 books for the year, which I'm pretty proud of. My reading years, normally, I'm like over 100 books or more, at least since 2020. 2020 really popped off reading-wise, because I don't know if anybody else was like trapped inside their house for some reason, but a lot of reading got done. Anyway, since then, I've been on a good reading kick where I'm reading over 100 books a year, except for this year. And that was by design. I knew I was going to slow down this year in terms of what I was reading, but also intentionally like needed to focus on other things. But now I got nothing else really going on, so more reading can be done. Of those 7 books, I didn't like any of them, unfortunately. Let's talk about Flesh. I wish I liked that book, because every time I attempt the Booker Prize, which again, this is my 4th year attempting it, I want to find books I like. Each year I have found at least one book I like, or a few that I'm like, these are really well-written books that I can understand how other people like it. I don't really understand how people like flesh. Smarter people than me do like it. Don't take my word as gospel, because I'm just an idiot on the internet with an opinion, and my opinion is that I didn't like this book. I will link my review down below, because I feel like if you get the vibes of that review, you will understand what I'm trying to say. I understand what the author was trying to do, I just didn't care about it. A review on Goodreads that was like, this man is so brave for writing this book, because most of the people who read fiction are women, and it's so brave to write a book about a man like this. I don't really care. Women read whatever, generally. Like, I don't know, I read whatever, the women in my life read whatever. It's more of a chore to get men to read books by women, and I feel like that's a statistic. Don't quote me on that. Not a scientist, not a doctor, not a scientist, not a sports commentator. I just play one on TV. I just think that when a man writes a book about a man, we shouldn't be applauding his bravery, because that's just what he does. I don't know. I don't know if any of that was coherent. Maybe I'll cut it all. Who cares? Flesh didn't impress me. I didn't care about it. I thought the writing was wild. Wild. I was able to finish it because most of the words were sure or okay or yes or no. Like, it's truly a wild book. And I will be shocked if it wins, except I won't be shocked. The Booker Prize always picks a book I don't care about or I don't like. So, and I would also like to take this time to apologize to Universality by Natasha Brown, because at this point it's my front runner, because it's the only book that I've read on the list that I've liked, which again is only 3, but already, like, it's so much more than the other 2 I read. Speaking of the second book I read, which was Audition by Kitamura, I am shocked that anybody cares about this book so strongly to either love it or hate it, because I will never think of this book again. I think it was perfectly mid, and that's kind of my thoughts. I don't believe that anybody cares that strongly about this book, and that's the general sentiment behind my review. I'm shocked that this was longlisted. I'm shocked that it's like a favorite to win in some people, like they really think this one will take it. But why? Somebody explain why this book is like revolutionary. I don't know. I think if you want a book that plays with form, I would recommend Trust by Hernan Diaz. I feel like that's a lot more interesting. If you want a book about a woman maybe having an affair, I don't know, Do All Fours by Miranda. I hated that book, but hey, whatever this book is trying to do, I think there's better books out there that are doing it better. Overall, I have no opinion on this book. And that's what's weird to me, because for everybody's like, you're either gonna love it or you hate it. Secret Third thing, I feel nothing about it. And maybe that's a version of hate. I don't know. Let this be a disclaimer. If I hate a book that you like, feel free to tell me that I'm wrong, because I will probably agree with you. I'm not getting a lot of stuff, so again, it's probably on me. Correct me, who cares? Moving on, I also started Flashlight by Susan Choi. Not very far into this, honestly, very scared of it. I keep seeing reviews of people saying it starts good and then it gets worse as you read on, and that makes me nervous. So already very anxious about this book. I want to like it. I want to like it so bad. I would like to like at least one book on this Booker long list, I swear to God. Otherwise, I also started The Loneliness of Sonia and Sunny on my e-reader. Thank you to Hogarth for the digital arc of that one. I would really like to finish that before the shortlist is announced, because I'm afraid once the shortlist is announced, I will lose all steam to continue with the Booker long list, because if any book that I like is not shortlisted, or if it's all just books I'm not interested in on the shortlist, I might give up. I don't know. My stats, my stats are troubling, but I kind of don't really have an opinion on that. It's really long. I feel like I have 16 hours left on my reading, and it's a lot of time for one book. I think I'm 5% in, and I feel like I've been reading a long time. I think I'm a bad reader, guys. I really don't know what to tell you. So my friends and I went book shopping. We went to the Penguin Bookshop in Pittsburgh. Lovely vibe there. We got coffee. Well, I got matcha. They got coffee. Matcha was good. I think their coffee was good. Good vibes. Anyway, I bought 6 books because I went crazy. There's just something, I don't do a lot of book shopping, to be clear. There's like a few times a year that I will go like all out, and then I will just read the books that I have. Or read library books and not read the books that I have. But I'm not buying a ridiculous amount of books every year. And I don't really like doing hauls, because I also get rid of a ton of the books I buy, which maybe seems bad, but I don't know. I really don't like owning things. So anyway, here are the 6 books I bought. I started with Silas, Marner by George Eliot. I really want to get into George Eliot. Everybody loves Middlemarch. I feel like I will like Middlemarch, but I'm scared of Middlemarch. That's a terrifying, intimidating book, and I'm scared of it. So I thought this would be like a nice starter into George Eliot's work. And if I like this, then maybe I'll commit to Middlemarch. I also grabbed The Goodbye People by Gavin Lambert. I love these McNally Jackson editions where it's like the half dust jacket. Very cool, very fun. I feel like they also have an edition of a David Foster Wallace I was looking at when I was into my David Foster Wallace kick. And I say that even though I haven't read anything by David Foster Wallace. Also, he's kind of a terrible person. Moving on. I like this edition and I'm interested to read this book. I also picked up Grief is for People by Sloane Crosley. I read this as a digital ARC from FSG last year, I want to say, whenever this came out, enough for the paperback to be out, and I wanted to own it as a physical copy. I really love this book. Nonfiction generally has been working better for me than fiction recently, which is why a lot of the books I like are nonfiction. Anyway, I thought this was really moving, really touching. Recommend it. I also picked up The Maniac by Benjamin. Who wants to pronounce this? Not me. That's the name. If you want to pronounce that, go wild. Tell me how in the comments. Correct me. Feel free. I don't care. I bought this on Vibes. I feel like I've seen people talk about it. People like it. And that's kind of it. Sorry. I also picked up The Colony by Annika Norlin. The lighting's really not doing it any favors. It's like this lovely seafoam color. I like it. Anyway, I saw Jess Decker talk about this on Instagram and also Goodreads, and she seemed to like it. It also has cult vibes, which speaks to me personally. I don't know, something about this book was drawing me in. So I found it. They had 2 copies, and unfortunately both of them have these like minor damages on the bottom you can't really see because, again, lighting not doing me any favors. But I bought it anyway because I was feeling reckless. Finally, Skippy Dies by Paul Murray. And you might be asking, who's Paul Murray? Oh, it's the author of The Bee Sting. I love an Irish author, and I feel like nobody's doing it quite like Paul Murray does, and I say that based off my experience with only one of his books. But again, The Bee Sting. I'm going to tell everybody about it because that book is special. And I'm hoping this book is similarly special. I don't know. Kids at a boarding school? Could be fun. Also, I think I like this cover. Shout out FSG. Those are the books I bought. I feel crazy. Every time I sit down to talk to myself, I realize how crazy it is. I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? The other thing I wanted to talk about, my friend Maddie told me about the Switch game, Tiny Bookshop, which I think might also be available on other things. I'm playing it on my Switch. I love Tiny Bookshop. I've invested many, many hours already into that game, and it's a lot of fun. I liked selling books to people. Shocker. Person who reads books likes a game about selling books to people. Who would have thought? I think I've played like a full year in the game already. I'm like on my 2nd summer, which is fun, and I'm enjoying it. It's really fun to see like the books I read for required reading before I quit doing required reading in like middle school. Like, I remember when I read The Importance of Being Earnest in middle school, and now I get to sell it to people in a video game. How fun is that? There's also other like random books. Like, why am I selling people Colleen Hoover? Don't make me do that. That's weird. No shade to people who read Colleen Hoover, I think. Kind of shade. I don't know. Moving on. My plans for September are basically continue on my Booker journey, see what kind of progress I can make before the shortlist is announced. Just want to keep rolling. Hopefully that'll get me somewhere. Also, not to be annoying, not to be this person, but football season is upon us, and my reading will take a nosedive because I will be watching hours of football every week, which is scary. If you told that to me 10 years ago, I would laugh, because why would I be doing that? Now here we are wearing a Miami Dolphin shirt, talking about books, but also talking about football. It's a real crazy path our lives take sometimes, you know? Can't always predict it, but here we are. So that was the month of August. If you have thoughts on any of the books I've read or any of the books I've recently picked up, let me know in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye. By the time this video goes up, we're already in NFL territory. It's serious out here, and I know my audience. I know you guys aren't here for football talk. I don't know why you guys are here for book talk, because I'm bad at that too. But I just have to say my sports opinions, lest the people in my life start throwing literal rocks at me to tell me to shut up. So I just want to like get this out and then be done talking about it. I promise I won't talk about the NFL unless my beloved Miami Dolphins go on a like historic run, you know, which they won't, to be clear. I love the Dolphins. They're not going to be good this season. I don't believe it. I fear the worst. I fear they're going to be last in their division, the AFC East. The Buffalo Bills, my enemy. I hate them so much. I root against 4 teams. The Buffalo Bills, because I'm petty and they're division rivals. I hate the Dallas Cowboys for many reasons, most of which being Jerry Jones. He looks evil. That man is evil, and he looks it. It shows on his face. I also hate the Kansas City Chiefs because I'm tired of all of it. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, because again, I'm so petty. I hate Aaron Rodgers. I wish him the worst. And I hope he fails. I hope he tarnishes Mike Tomlin's legacy, because anybody who willingly brings that man in the building, something's wrong there. Anyway, so those are the 4 teams I hate. The 4 teams I'm rooting for, of course, my beloved Miami Dolphins. I fear the worst this season. I fear that Mike McDaniel, my beloved coach, who I love so much, is going to get fired. I fear the worst. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I need to stop talking. Rooting for the Dolphins. And then my NFC team of choice is the Minnesota Vikings, because again, I love a team of losers. I love a team of losers and underdogs, and nobody has loser energy like the Minnesota Vikings, but they trick you into thinking that they're decent and then they just let it all go. That's kind of the history, but there's always hope, and that's what gets me. I love to hope for an underdog. So, yeah, Dolphins, Vikings, and then my 2 sleeper teams this year in the AFC, I'm rooting for the Chargers for no reason other than that I just like want them to click. I want Justin Herbert to finally like do something, because there's something about him that you're like, hey, this guy's on something, and then he doesn't do anything. Their performance in the postseason last year, disappointing. Maybe this year will be different. Who knows? I don't know. Rooting for them. And then, of course, we have the NFC team, my sleeper team, Carolina Panthers. And you're going to ask yourself, what do these 4 teams have in common? And it's that they're losers. Big loser energy abound. I'm rooting for the Panthers because I think they can be better this year. And that's it. I don't think they're going to be, like, successful to any nominal degree that we're going to care about them. But I think they're just going to be better than last year. Which, again, small hurdle. It's not hard to be better than they were last year. It sounds so mean because I am rooting for them. So yeah, those are my sports thoughts. I could give you an in-depth analysis based on each division and each conference, and I'm not going to do that because, again, I know my audience. So if you've watched any of this, fins up.